Fight fans all over the world, it's Daddy P with Slap Happy Gorilla. What? I'm back with you. Listen, it's Daddy P. I did a video not too long ago about Canelo Alvarez, Jermell Charlo. And in the title, I said something about the smaller Jermell Charlo. And I got a lot of flack, a lot of feedback from it, telling me I'm smoking and all that because Jermell Charlo is bigger than Canelo Alvarez. Listen. Okay, so first of all, the smaller Charlo is the smaller Charlo brother. Smaller, I know they twins, but he is the smaller because he's been campaigning at a lesser weight class than his older brother. You know, and they say older because he was born first. The firstborn of the twins he's the WBC champ at 160 pounds, and then Jermell Charlo is the undisputed champion at 154 pounds. Listen. Now, so I said the smaller Charlo, and then people jumped on me because they were thinking I was talking about that Charlo was smaller than Canelo Alvarez. Now, listen to this now. Okay, if you had a backyard barbecue and you had a backyard brawl against two guys, one shorter, one taller, and the shorter guy got the best of the taller guy, they will say, man, that little dude beat that big dude up. Now, that's a backyard brawl. But in the sport of boxing, these are sanctioned fights for a professional sport. You know what I mean? Now, let me break down what I'm telling you. Canelo Alvarez is the undisputed champion for the 168-pound division. Listen. That's super middleweight. Okay? That's super middleweight. And he's the undisputed champion. That means the major sanctioning bodies have sanctioned fights that he has fought in, and he is the undisputed champion across the board for all sanctioning bodies. The WBC is a sanctioning body in boxing at 168 pounds, and Canelo Alvarez holds that belt. The WBA is a sanctioning body or a governing body in the sport of boxing, and at 168 pounds, Canelo Alvarez is their champion. The IBF is a sanctioning body for professional boxing, and at 168 pounds, Canelo Alvarez is their champion. The WBO is a sanctioning body in the sport of boxing. Now you get my drift. Now listen. I understand that Canelo Alvarez stands at about 5'8", right? I understand that. And Jermell Charlo stands at about 5'11". Okay. So he is taller. And when they face off, he is the taller, and he look about probably a little wider than Canelo Alvarez. But the point of the matter is, this is not a backyard brawl. This is a professional sanctioned fight. With the sanctioning bodies, or the governing bodies of the sport of boxing, are sanctioning this fight for professional boxing. So what that means is there's rules. That's the reason why they have governing bodies in professional sports. Now, in boxing, they talk about all the different types of corruption that are in the sanctioning bodies, but they are the governing bodies nonetheless. Now, the point of the matter is that Canelo Alvarez has been punching and getting punched in the professional sport of boxing in sanctioned fights as high up as 175 pounds. Listen, that is light heavyweight. That's light heavyweight, 175 pounds. And in fighting at that weight class, he has taken punches. He has accumulated himself with that weight class division. Now, on the other hand, Jermell Charlo has never taken punches in a sanctioned professional boxing match at a weight no higher than 154 pounds. Now, I know they spar guys and they say, oh yeah, because they were talking about Jermell Charlo was talking about the power of Errol Spence and how when he get in there and spar with Errol Spence, it's like being hit by a light heavyweight. Now, that might be sparring, but that is not a professional sanctioned fight. In a professional sanctioned fight, Jermell Charlo has not taken punches at a weight class higher than 154 pounds professionally. So now, that's what, if you want to argue the point that Canelo Alvarez is the bigger or smaller guy, in the sport of boxing, Canelo Alvarez is considered to be the bigger guy of the two. Now, you might not agree with me, but in professional boxing, they agree. So, now, and my whole point was that Canelo Alvarez has worked at 168 pounds. People say that, Jermell Charlo called him out. Well, hey, David Benavidez has been calling him out a long time. Been calling Canelo out a long time. So if you want to go by call-outs, why he ain't answer that call-out? Okay. Now, Canelo Alvarez is in the driver's seat in his own career. He can pick to fight whoever he wanna. He picked Jermell Charlo, and this is what the consensus is, that he wanted to fight the older, or sometimes I use the term bigger Charlo, but he was not mentally ready or physically ready. So the torch was passed to Jermell Charlo. Now, I understand that, but my thing is this. When you are a champion at 168 pounds, why are you picking 154 pounders to fight and you supposed to be protecting or your crown as a 168 pound champion? Now, what's wrong with that picture is that you have guys at 168 pounds and you have all four of the belts held up. Now, Canelo Alvarez don't need the belts. His name is big enough to where he can drop all four of those belts and he can negotiate a fight and make the same amount of money as he would without the belts, because he is the face of the sport. I mean, hey, look, I'm telling you, I agree with that. Canelo Alvarez don't need none of those WBC, WBA, IBF, WBO. He don't need none of those belts. But a lot of fighters who are not as fortunate as him, want an opportunity to get those belts because they need those belts for legitimacy. But Canelo Alvarez doesn't. But what he's doing is he's holding up all four belts to defend this crown as the undisputed champion against a 154 pounder. That is very selfish and unfair to the guys who are campaigning at 168 pounds because they don't have an opportunity to become champion. And so now Canelo Alvarez is giving the opportunity to a fighter that has not done anything to campaign in that weight class. So, like, for instance, David Benavidez is the interim champion for the WBC crown, right? Who has been calling out Canelo Alvarez ever since Canelo Alvarez picked up that WBC strap. And Canelo Alvarez has been ignoring that call out, and he is choosing to fight someone that is not in his weight class. Now, for Canelo Alvarez's career, that's great. That's great. But for somebody who's in the sport that's campaigning at 168 pounds, that's selfish. Because you're giving his opportunity to somebody in a lower weight class. Now, I know Canelo Alvarez fans are going to say, oh, he's crazy. No, I'm not crazy. I am a fan of the sport of boxing. I am not a fanboy of a certain boxer. I like the sport of boxing. And in the sport of boxing, that's crazy. That is very selfish because he's holding up the belts. And a lot of people talking about his career being legendary, but true legends, especially of old, don't do that, man. True legends, hey, look. They defend their crown. Now, I understand Canelo Alvarez, what I give him credit for, he fights, he fights. Like, he continue, I understand a stay busy fight here and there. I understand, oh yeah, I done defended, okay, I understand all that stuff. But at 168 pounds, man, you just signed a deal with Showtime. You got a 168 pounder that's calling you out. Nah, but you saying, Jamel Charlo called him out. Jamel Charlo, yeah, the Charlo brothers been calling Canelo out for years. But Canelo Alvarez is in the driver's seat for his career. He can pick to fight whoever he want to fight. Now, he's earned that right. I give him that. He's earned that right because he's a superstar in the sport of boxing. But all I'm saying is that he's giving the opportunity that should be for the 168-pound division if he's going to hold on to those belts. He's given the opportunity he's defending that belt against somebody that's not a 168-pounder. Now, is Jamel Charlo smaller than Canelo Alvarez? In stature, maybe not. But in the sport of boxing, Canelo Alvarez is the bigger fighter professionally. This is Daddy P. You can like, hate, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you can be notified every time it goes down. Go ahead and slap that like button for me, man. This is Daddy P. I'm out of here.